I'm David from Horror Quebec. Nice to meet you, Emma. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. So, Canadian premiere.
Woohoo! We're here.
How's that feel like?
Our homecoming. This feels really good. I think I'm excited, especially because it's Fantasia and it's my first time at the festival, but I know that the audiences are amazing here. So I just want to, I want to connect with proper genre fans on this film. So I'm looking forward to that.
And it's your feature debut as well, too?
Yeah. Yes, it is. We haven't shown it to many people yet. It's only the third time ever I'm going to watch it with an audience and share it with people, so it's very, very special. Very few people have seen this movie yet.
I will tell you, you will not be disappointed, like especially with the Fantasia audience. And in terms of exposure of the film, like the strategy of going for a festival circuit instead of actually going through main distributions to have it go in theaters. Like, you want to take us a little bit of why you wanted to go along that angle instead of actually trying to find distribution for mainstream theater?
Well, we actually will have distribution later on in 2020. We'll be in the wider theaters in 2026, early 2026. What year is it now? So we will have that too, but I think that the festivals are a better way to, one, I think it's really good to actually connect with people, especially in the genre festivals who are fans of the genres. So it's such a direct way to create buzz for a film. There's just a lot of support, and it also allows us to sort of parse it out and build for a bit of a longer period, I guess, the promotion of it. It's also fun. It's
absolutely
fun. It's fun to go into the festivals, yeah. Yeah, especially at the time right now where everybody's talking about the theaters not being, a thing anymore, so you gotta support them in that. I don't buy that. I think people are still going to the theaters, finding myself included. I go all the time.
So actually, I want to dive a little further into the film itself, which I gotta say. So I watched it a couple of days ago, and the one thing I could think of right away about the concept, which you wrote as well. So as a writer director debut, that's something that's great. You've only done 18 days of shooting. Is that true?
Yeah.
All right. So I'd love to hear the challenges. And
I think I'll say this many times too. Making a film at all is a miracle. Making a film that is good is 5 miracles at once. I think that we had certainly our challenges. Speed things were moving fast and furious, really quickly. The thing I was really well supported in was having a really good team that surrounded me and let me adapt as things change, because things do change in indie film pretty quick. You've got to be able to think on your toes. My years of training in music videos, commercials, all that kind of space. I've been directing for 10 years now. Gave me the skills to see when things needed to change and be able to know when to change the plan and when to stick to the plan, and that's the instincts at play. And then the other thing I was really, really lucky in is having an amazing cast, because especially Kate Hallett, our lead, who's Riley in the film, could work very quickly. She took direction and could turn on a dime into a different space. She was on every day. I don't think she had the day off. She's in every scene of the film. So being able to lean on her. She's 19. We were only have the entire production really weigh on her shoulders as well in such a way that she carried that load like a professional of 10 times her age. It was very impressive, and I was very lucky to have so much support in the cast. But oh my God, indie filmmaking is crazy. There was crazy stuff.
Okay, can you name a few?
We shot in North Bay, Ontario, and while we were there, there was an arsonist at large.
Oh.
So there was just a lot of fires. It was our hair person's salon burned down.
Oh my.
Fire burned down on the first day of production. Midway through production, we were filming one of the key scenes when Riley and Peyton first meet, and I look at that scene and I know that directly behind what you can't see off camera was a mattress factory that was on fire. So a massive warehouse factory on there, and the firemen were there telling us that we had moments to evacuate if the wind turned because it was headed towards the gas station and things would get crazy. So we were on the edge of our seats the whole time. Every day was a miracle.
Did that help?
No, it didn't help.
Okay.
It was anticipated. I think that after a while of being a film, you know that you prepare, and then
I must say, a lot of the camera work I very much appreciate as well too. And I almost felt like there was like no hidden corners throughout the entire thing. So like, you know, every time the camera was panning throughout this house or, you know, going across the street, like, you know, can you talk more about how the strategy got into, like, you know, telling the story that way through the camera?
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things I liked about films as well is, I mean, I think there's probably some references to my favorite films as well too. Like, I love Zoom.
Okay.
You know, there's some slow zooms in there, just things that feel a little bit more, not necessarily at the time, and I did want to make the film feel a little more evergreen in the sense that there's, you know, I don't want anything that feels too trendy or now, but it's sort of a referential of you know, all my influences, which is really like the 80s and 90s of films, into the 2000s, but like it's really 80s and 90s influence that did the camera work. And my DOP, Matt Barkley, and I took a long time to prep and board and figure out all the shots in advance to create something that would feel, I guess, it's sort of like a kind of claustrophobia in the suburbia.
Absolutely.
Of it all, that you feel sort of, despite it being like an open, you know, it's not like you're actually trapped. If you want to feel trapped in this space, in this, the kind of like, you know, crappiness of that location. I grew up in a suburb and it just felt very trapped, isolated. So we really need that sort of camera work. And yeah, I just really enjoy it. I think they have a little bit more style to them as well. I think that one of the things we always would say on set, mantras for the film was, don't be afraid. Like, go for the bigger choice. Like, take a swing at it. It's more interesting than being boring. So
I feel like that reflected on the lead character as well too, in terms of like what she was doing, right?
Yeah.
So
she should have been more afraid.
Yeah, well, fearlessness kind of is a trait, could be a curse, could be, you know, something that, or it could be a downfall in this case, or not, or.
Yeah. Her message is you should be more afraid. She should be. That my direction to Kate as she was playing Riley was to never play it. She's not the villain of the story ever. She's, in her mind, she's the hero of the story. So every choice that we made was she's the hero. This is a hero's journey. Like which completely works in opposition to what's actually the plot of what's happening. So there's these two things working simultaneously, like her character direction and her hero's journey arc as far as her story goes, and then the actual plot itself, which is in opposition to that. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but it's not good. So Kate really took that direction to heart in maintaining this innocence. It's kind of throughout the film. And then Herman, who plays Peyton, is just an angel. He's such a talent, and he came to us from Norway, and he sings on the songs. He's like a singer, he's a dancer, he's an actor, he's a true professional. And him and Kate formed a really close relationship, I'd say, that really required a lot of trust. There's a lot of scenes between the two of them that are quite emotionally intimate. Plus, he's in his underwear the whole film, so there's that kind of like just discomfort. Yeah, they just, I think, built a really nice trust and friendship, and it's kind of one of the more beautiful examples, I think, of actors who truly can listen and feed off of each other, and it's beautiful when you see that.
It was. Yeah. I was very much taken from it. Like, again, like she kept. Kate's character, she sold it for me every time. I'm like, yeah, she means well. I'm like, wait, but no, she's doing all these shitty things. But
she's a star. She's sold out.
Yeah.
Very hard. The film, the tone is one of the things I'm more proud of in the film too, because that's is a needle to thread to like make a sympathetic, hero who is terrible. It's just a complicated. Otherwise, if you don't have, I don't think if you don't have love for her, the film doesn't work, because I think at that point you're like, yeah, who cares?
Thank you for justifying it.
Yeah.
No. In terms of the, did you write the music?
I didn't write the music. I worked with a really talented band of composers wrote the music. So they wrote the entire score for the film, and then they wrote the original songs with the fictional band who plays. And their name is Blitzberg Berlin. They're a trio. They're from Victoria, Canada originally. They've done some they do a lot of genre movies too. A couple others that are playing at the festival too. They scored Queens of the Dead, which is the new Tina Romero movie too. They did that one. They work in the horror space, and yeah, I've known them for 15 years now. We've been working together. This is for me, and we used to make music videos together when they were punk bands. Yeah, so in a way that they were musicians as well, so they could write the songs. Yeah, they didn't write these kinds of songs, which we had to write before the film too. Like there's 3 original songs for the band, so they had to be right before the camera. And yeah, those dudes are, it's not their type of music, but they really, I think, the part of the story is like the sort of boy band Harry Styles as like teen heartthrob music. Those songs are hits. I can't wait to release them. I would say that Herman himself very much influenced the character. I was open to the type of pop star, rock star that could have been. It could have gone into a kind of more dark, like 1975-y, or something, a little bit edgier as well. Or there's like, or more Kurt Cobain or something like that too. Should we have found a different actor? But Herman himself is kind of, he brings a sort of like puppy dog-esque energy to him, and because he is this, it's his energy lent itself more to that kind of music that became, what it is, what became Portland. I would also say that my references are very millennial too, so I was trying to update that. Like, I always had Tyson Ritter from All American Rejects. I was like, that's the kind of band we have here too, and I use it as an archetype for the thing for Floor Plan, that they're a band, but there's very much like a front man.
Right. His vulnerability was actually very well drawn out as well too. Like, someone who takes charge of the stage, but afterwards backstage is actually very vulnerable and very dependent on, like in this case, like with the that drug addiction, and then afterwards, I felt like he was dependent on Kate at that point too.
Yeah.
Which is I found that it's a very complex concept, and I very much enjoyed it. So
he needs her. I think it's like the thing is that everyone needs fans. These artists require fans. Yeah. Movies require fans. So
they do.
I don't know, making not all I would say most fandom is like a wonderful space, because part of my inspiration was touring with bands and doing videography on tour and being a music video director. So I got to see a lot of fan interactions up close. And mostly I'm a fan of a ton of things. I'm a fan of horror movies. I do things as a fan, and it is a way to find community and like-minded people. So I think it's wrong to cast them as all kind of like crazy. There's some real heart to it.
Well, we're all done here. We got to wrap up, but it was a pleasure talking with you and just talking about this film. I'm very excited for it. I really wish all the success for it. It was a very enjoyable ride, and I hope you enjoy your time at Fantasia. I think it will not disappoint.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.